Well, hello, my beautiful, powerful, everyday women of the world. Welcome to the Startup Stories podcast, where the ambitious everyday woman is heard, held, and served in life and business. I'm your host, Mia Frankel of Powerful Inc., the everyday woman's coach for living a peaceful and productive life. On this podcast, you'll hear relatable stories to keep you sane, grounded, and growing as you expand yourself and deliver your purpose to the world. And you guys, today we're going to have just another epic, amazing, powerful, relatable conversation with the lovely Sarah Trop of Funcycled. She is a nationally recognized interior designer. She's a home and garden TV flea market flip champion. This was part of the origin story, right? Dating back to
Yeah,
the
yeah,
beginning of Funcycled. But
it's true.
beyond all these titles and features, you know I'm not about the flash. I'm about the heart and the soul and the woman behind the business. And Sarah is such a beautiful example of that, having built a business with soul, sustainability, and faith in the center of it, and growing herself as a woman and allowing the business to evolve and change along the journey. So she started off in her mid-20s as a mom of two, wanting to work from home and be present with her children. Amen. Yes, please. And she wanted to create something meaningful with her hands. And so she was led to paint and repurpose furniture, which grew, which led her into the TV show, which she won, opened a store, and it's all melded together to become an interior design company. And one of the other really cool things that she did was transformed her, where is it here? 100 and oh, her 1802 farmhouse restoration, which sounds like it was another catapult for you, Sarah, into maybe a niche or, your specialty and finding ways to bring beauty back to the old and so-called broken, which is, as you described, such a beautiful parallel to what Jesus does for us and how he heals the broken
Amen.
and how he looks for, his children to come home to him and have their hearts and souls restored. So there's a lot of nice parallel to that there. And we're going to talk about kind of the whole journey here and see how you can build your business with faith and family and creativity and stay in the game and let it bake out and don't lose faith and don't get disheartened or heartbroken along the way because we're not going to shy away. Like, it is hard and it does take effort and it does take ongoing effort. And as a coach, the coaching industry tends to be like, you get to this place of arrival and then everything's easy. But I don't believe that's true. You can't graduate life on earth. You're always having to overcome something else. So, Sarah, let's just have the
So true.
conversation. I'm so excited to have you on the show and honored to spend this time with you.
Yeah, I'm really thrilled to be here. I always feel like it's such an honor when I get to chat with any woman in business who loves Jesus and wants to help other women. I mean, that's the heart of uh, my dream job in some ways. Like
Hey.
I love helping women. I love pouring into people, and it's not my job, but I love it. I love it, and it's part of I try to make it part of my week where I'm meeting with women on a consistent basis. And it's funny when you say like all those accolades at the beginning, I always kind of just am like, oh, like it turns my stomach a little bit when I hear that when I'm on a podcast, because I know that in my life, and I say this genuinely, like every step of the way, God has so beautifully orchestrated my life. I feel undeserving. I feel his mercy and his grace day after day. I was listening to Job this morning on my way home from the gym, and just God takes and God can give to you and take away.
Mhm.
And sometimes we're in the takeaway part of the journey, and sometimes we're in the giving. And then sometimes it's the season where he rebuilds, but all the way through understanding the sovereignty of God in that we don't understand ourselves, we don't understand what he's orchestrating around us, and we have to trust wherever he's putting us, whatever season we're in. And so I'm just excited to talk through what seasons look like in business and how we
Yeah.
can help.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And so Fun Cycled is about how old now?
We are 14 years. We just hit the 14-year mark. Yep.
Okay, so congratulations. So growing a
Thanks.
business from
hmm
like, let's say painting in your garage to being nationally featured in magazines and TV show and etc. Let's talk about some of the seasons that you've experienced, particularly the initial season. Like, what was it? Where did you go from painting the furniture to competing on the TV show? Like, that seems like a big jump.
Yeah, so when I first started painting, furniture, it was just me in my basement. Yep, when the
Mhm,
kids were napping or late at night, 8 to midnight-ish. And one of my friends, her name's Marcy, super sweet. She's actually Canadian too. And she moved here, and for a sweet season when our kids were younger, we would get together at night and watch shows. We'd get the kids in bed early,
mhm,
and then we watched Flea Market Flip. And she
mhm.
said, "You need to be on this show." And I was like, "No one's on TV unless they know someone. No one gets to be on TV unless they know someone."
Yeah.
And she's like, "You just need to stop limiting and like just apply. Who cares?"
Okay.
And I still pushed back for a bit. And then she said, "I know I want you to push." And she pushed me a little more. And I said, "Okay, I'm going to do it." Um, and then I got accepted, and I was like, shoot, it's what I do for a living. Like, if I fail on national television, that's embarrassing. And she's like, "You're gonna be fine." And my brother said, "You are a storyteller. It doesn't even matter if you win. You tell the story of the pieces, the history of the pieces, why you're redoing it, how you're redoing it, and that's
Mhm,
a win no matter what." So I kind of went into it full throttle, and I'm a big proponent. I know there's like different groups of people where some are very strong on like no and boundaries, and I'm more of a try it always, like say
mhm.
yes to one at least once, and then if it doesn't and you don't like it, you can always say, "Hey, I tried it and it's not for me." And by doing that in my life, I've seen so many blessings from it, so many really cool experiences. And every year, like we just had dinner with some friends this week at our house, really intimate dinner, and I said, "Let's go through our cell phone,
Mhm.
look at every pictures of every month, and everybody pick out one thing each month that really like stood out to you in a beautiful way." And I was like, "Oh, God was so good this to
Mhm,
us this year. Like
mhm.
so many blessings, so many sweet experiences." And a lot of those came from just being willing to try something that might feel uncomfortable or
Mhm.
be outside of my um, wheelhouse. And it just was fun, a lot of fun.
That's like keeping the creativity in it, right? And allowing space for things to ebb and flow. And so you had mentioned previous to us recording, hitting record, that the business has changed a lot from the beginning. And like mine has too. And it's allowing the experimentation without the attachment, but having like how do you thread it together, for example, so that you're building momentum as you go rather than the old analogy of spaghetti at the wall.
Yeah. So I think the core values stay the same. Sustainability is a core
Mhm.
value of our business. Um, Community is a core value of our business. I really believe God built us for community. And so
Yes.
when I say, I want you to find something alongside the road and redo it because it's sustainable and because the experience is going to be something you're going to remember. I say the same thing in design. I'm going to design your spaces because I want you to create a space you want to come home to. I want you to
Yeah.
feel relaxed when you're there. I want you to invite friends over because that builds community.
Yeah.
So a lot of those core values still go back to the same thing. Um, and stewardship, as far as like, can we do a whole kitchen facelift and it's at a fraction of a price of a remodel, but it looks like a brand new remodel?
Mhm.
That's good stewardship. So those core values still land there, and it all is, design based, artistic, creative, and collaborative. So
Mhm.
I think when you look at that, um, it still is the heartbeat of the business. It's just over the years changed and evolved from, literally just painting pieces of furniture in my basement while I was working. I was in the IT industry for 9 years, nothing related to what I'm doing now.
Right.
And then being willing to say yes. I mean, for years, people said, "Will you be my designer? Like, I love your storefront. I love how it looks.
Mm.
We'd be delivering furniture, and my
Mhm.
husband and I, it's just the two of us. And
Yeah.
so we're delivering furniture, and people say, "Can you please design my house? What
Mm.
color should I do over here?" And I kept saying, "No, I'm not a designer. I'm not a designer." And then I felt
Oh,
kind of convicted about it. Like, if I'm giving you these opportunities, why are you saying no?
yeah.
Like, why not at least see, do
Yeah.
you enjoy doing that? And so I started saying yes, and
Yeah.
kind of the rest is history. And it's funny because I love doing furniture. I really love it. I'm very passionate about furniture repurposing. It's an art to me. It's not just
Mhm.
like throw a coat of paint on it. But
Mhm.
I love design. The idea that I didn't even consider doing this for my life. And now it's like so integral in how I view the world. It's just really beautiful. And I think that is a compilation of following the Holy Spirit's leading
Yeah.
and saying yes to the opportunities he gives us, you know?
There's a few things I want to pull out of that. That the interior design element is like the obvious thing that seemed too obvious to be a thing,
Right. Yeah.
which is like often the case where we're kind of blind to what's right in front of us. I want to peel back just for a sec to when you applied to Home and Garden, because to the listener, we see women winning awards, being published in magazines, getting in books, being featured on TV. They're not sitting around. Like Sarah took action and applied. And bless Marcy, you said her name was,
Yeah.
for
Marcy.
pushing you, right? So you have a friend behind you. You can go after these opportunities. I've gone after opportunities that have got my face in places because I asked and or paid to be there. So it's not like, um, I mean, even actors who get nominated for Oscars or Emmys have to do the movie. They have to be an actor in order to get there. And then,
Right.
that influences whether or not they get selected. But in our case, my point is we have some agency and we can go out and seek these opportunities. And so important
Well,
that Sarah was an absolute everyday woman, momming, pursuing passion in the basement, and with the encouragement, the forceful encouragement of a good friend, a woman backing her, you pursued an opportunity which blew things up because God
yeah.
was in it. And
And can I say two
yeah,
things about that real quick?
yeah,
One is that I have no reason to be able to have the things that I have. I have no college degree. I was homeschooled. I barely have a high school diploma.
right,
It's like a homeschool
right,
diploma. So if there's women listening going like, "Oh, I'm not qualified," that is a lie from de
yes,
the devil. And you, if God has gifted you in something or called you to something, you pursue it and let him decide if it's available and what your path should be. But then also it comes back to the community. I would not be where I am, and I don't build relationships. Like some people have said to me, "Oh, you have so many friends. It's
mm,
probably all for business." I'm like, "Ew, I don't think of people for business at all."
uh-huh,
But what I do think of people as is how do I support them and how do they support me
yeah,
from an emotional, spiritual, and
mhm,
real world like business perspective. And it's not who's going to pay me to help them. That's not
mhm,
at all what it is. But I have been surrounded by people who keep me accountable
mhm,
and who really push me outside of it. And how can we be that to others? Even if
yes,
you want to say, like, I feel like I can't ask people to do that to me. If you start being that for others, those people will be attracted to you and they will do it to you. And you rise together
yeah,
but it usually takes some person that's going to be that I'm always the awkward person at a family or a friend get together who's like, let's go through our questions. Let's talk through like how are our hearts in this season? Like, what are our goals for 2026? I'm that awkward, but I'm going to push us for more because to me, this life is not just about like, let's settle. It's where's God calling us? I do this once a month. It's my favorite thing I do. And I highly recommend this to any business owner just starting out or seasoned business owner. I get together with business owner women
mhm,
and I call it Tuesday night on my patio. That's all it is. It's pretty simple. Everybody brings a snack. And what we do is the only reason I pick people is if they own their own company and if they're doing emotional work. So whether they go
mhm,
to therapy or they have a coach or they're reading books about it, they have to be aware of themselves or you can't get to the depths that you want to get, right?
mhm,
And this is all we do. We have food and we sit down and we say, what has God taught me in the last 30 days and how can we support each other in the next 30? Like, do I have
mhm,
an event coming up? And so many of those community things where you watch other women, you're like, oh, how did she get on that? How did she get on?
yeah,
It's literally just a nomination. And you go, hey, this
right,
nomination's coming up. If
right,
anybody wants to throw my name in, like, I'd love the opportunity. Great. Why wouldn't you? I'd want to champion my friend. I would want
mhm,
to select and that's how people get those accolades. That's how
yeah,
they have a community of people like supporting them in it. And often when I meet with women, they'll say, well, like, it's really hard. No one wants to get together. And I say all the time, like, I get it. It's really hard for me too. And I have a lot of friends.
mhm,
And I still have to like intentionally say, hey, girls, reminders, it's 2 weeks out, it's 1 week out, everybody's coming to like, you
mhm,
still have to plan it almost like it's a job. but the rewards are so worth it. And I know I jumped in, but it's just like so essential to my story, the community side of it.
Well, I can't relate more because the podcast has been my community builder. And the reason that I was featured in a book is because of a woman I met through my podcast. And the reason that I can host a series of summits that I'm in the middle of is because of the women that I've met. And it's very much the same intention that you spoke to of meeting to see and to connect and to create community together, collaboration, and then see where it leads. And the thing is, it will always lead to growth. It will always lead to
True.
something more. My business right now is so full of so many delicious, fantastic, I'm going to say even like ongoing developments that I'm more and more excited every year to, the riches that are coming through in various forms. So, and I'm not sitting around waiting for it. So another thing that I am known for, I'm calling it big Mia action. Like we can sit, we heal our hearts, we align our spirits, and then we freaking move.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
You
so
don't,
true.
you can't, my analogy, all you can't sit at the gym and like will your way into muscle development. You have to
Yeah.
do the lifting. So
Well,
it's very wise. And then you take it even to another level of deeply intentional. And so I just wanted to pull out another point because when I asked you how you thread the business together as it grows and changes, what you described is very much a CEO mentality. And so when we're
mm,
starting out, we're very passionate and like newborn stage, so excited about the new baby business and isn't it cute and isn't it wonderful and doesn't everybody want to love it? But as a CEO, from day one, my beautiful listener, from very day one, picture the adult that you're raising.
mm,
And that's where you, Sarah, having identified the core values, has led that business all the way along. And so, if we can establish those core values at the beginning, they will be our guideposts and our framework to which we can say yes and no in some cases to opportunities and allow it to evolve.
100%. And I'm so glad you brought that up because if the listener is going, oh, I'm new, this over feels overwhelming, because that's often what I felt when I heard in the first 5 years. I had no core values for the first 5 years. And you know how I got core values? Uh, a guy that I met who was a client said, I want to start my own business and I want to help people figure out their core values. Can I do it for you for free? That's how I got core values for the first time ever. And what a gift it was. Because yes, we were living in it. We were practicing
Mhm,
our core values. That's why you're
mhm,
there, your core values. But identifying it helps the decisions along the way. And I do think entrepreneurs, we all tend to be addicted to catastrophe. We're all addicted to chaos sometimes. And that doesn't always mean bad chaos. It could be like, oh, this new business venture, this, da, 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 da. And it's
yes.
like, well, does this align with our core value? That helps you answer those questions. So once you do the front loading work of like, how do I do the core values? Number one, there's people who can help you figure it out. And
Mhm,
number two, if you can't, or if you can't afford to have them do it, use ChatGPT if you have to, and
totally.
walk through. Here's my core values. Help me structure this. Only because it will help you in decision making and decision making fatigue. I mean, I get asked regularly. I had a meeting last week about starting a new company. I get asked regularly by
Mm,
people to partner with them and start companies with them.
mm,
So I constantly have to go back to prayer, yes, Holy
mhm,
Spirit leading, but then it's like, what does this align with our core values as a family,
mhm.
mine personally, and within the business, and kind of always pivoting based on those things.
Yeah. It there's to me the parallel between your self-leadership and your business leadership and bringing them together,
Yeah.
right? It's funny. Way back in the day when I was still in university and I did environmental science with a minor in business admin because I was heading into conservation land, parks and things. But I remember coming across someone's adult daughter who had taken a job for oil and gas, and they were moving a lake. And I was pretty much like I was pretty deep in the tree hugging days, like the granola days of my idealistic early 20s, right? I wanted to save all the trees and the birds. And I was so like exploring in myself where the alignment was if I were to be a successful environmentalist, but then help a big industrial company move a lake. It didn't sit well with me. And so that's alignment of self and your values as a person, which you've described, and then the values that align for you in how you run your business. As a coach, I'm running my business to serve and to connect and to breathe life into women who have stopped dreaming, who feel, desperate or tired and can't, like, are wondering why even bother, it's not working. And in honoring that part, I'm not looking for big flashy launches. I'm not looking for big numbers to fill the room so I can say, look at me, I'm a seven-figure coach. I'm looking for the meaning behind it and the money beside it. And
Yeah.
that's how we align like ourselves and really step into a deeper sense of leadership as a business owner. Sarah, you can speak to this with 14 years under your belt, like the kind of the maturity level and the riding the emotional roller coaster when you have more identity clarity and like business framework to go with it.
Yeah, it's interesting the timing of this podcast because if I'm being vulnerable, like we're really slow right now. We're in a season where it's the slowest we've ever been as a business. My account is lower than it's ever been. And I think it's just the economy because it's not
Mhm.
just me. I have a lot of friends in the industry and things are just slower than they have been. And I was walking the track this morning with my husband and he said, "Wow, I've never seen you this calm when things are this unknown before." He's like, what's the difference, do you think? And I said, I think it's a years of inner work, like doing therapy, doing understanding myself, understanding that, but even bigger picture, it's understanding God's faithfulness to me. Like when you're first there, it's so hard to be like, I have no examples. I'm used to a 9 to 5. I have nothing in
Mhm.
savings. I have nothing, no, nothing to fall back on. And God year after year just showing himself faithful. So I have to
Mhm.
go, does it feel scary that my accounts are lower? Does it feel scary that I have no idea, like outside of pulling from savings within the next month, how I'm going to pay staff?
Mhm.
Um, and all of those things, I just have to trust that he's bigger than me and he knows I'm working as hard as I can work. I'm not slow. Like I'm super busy. Like
Yeah.
I'm busy every second of the day. But that it's more like busy enough for all the staff. And I feel there's that responsibility of like I don't want to lose good people. I care
Mhm.
about all my staff so much. It's
Mhm.
not
Mhm.
like and literally yesterday, I had a meeting with one of my staff, and I prayed before. I'm like, God, just have them quit because I don't know how
Mhm.
I'm going to afford them much longer. And we get into the meeting, and she said, I hate to have to do this, but I have to quit. My life is just chaos right now. I'm so busy, and I can't even get time to do my work. And I'm thinking inside, thank you, Jesus.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
because but he is consistently like showing himself faithful. But I do think it takes a lot of work on our side. It's not just oh, God, give me peace. I tried that for years.
Yeah.
It's God, give me peace. But like how do I do the work of understanding myself? When I talk to newer interior designers specifically, but I think this applies across business platforms and styles. I really, really recommend personality tests and
Yeah.
personality books so you can understand your clients, so you can understand yourself. You can understand why one client sets you off. Like,
Mhm.
what about their personality do you dislike? They're asking you about the invoice. Well, they're an engineer. He's an engineer. Like,
Mhm.
it's not personal. It's not a personal attack. He's going to be more technical. Or this other person, they're going to be more emotional and they want to understand the story and the feeling. And how do we reach our clients well? And that gives a better business experience. And so not only does it help with the inner work, but I think it helps build the business. Some of my favorite things is I hired my current assistant. At the same time, I hired a firm to kind of walk me through working with employees, like based on I already knew what my personality type was. I already have done a lot of therapy, a lot of work, but like, how am I showing up as a leader? What's the broccoli in my teeth? What am I not seeing about
Yeah.
myself? And how do I interact better with their personalities? And it was fascinating because I learned so much. And you, I'm sure, as a life coach, probably could help people with this too, is just how are you presenting to the people, even if it's your family, like,
Mhm.
um, even if they don't have employees yet, like, how are you presenting to your husband when
Mhm.
you get home? Because it's so stressful when you own a business. And I ended up
Mhm.
working with my husband.
Yeah.
He joined me a year and a half in. And man, were those hard days. We just had dinner with some dear friends the other night, and they said, "How is it? How was it at the beginning of
Mhm.
everything working together?" I said, "I really thought I would get divorced quite a few times."
Mm.
It is extremely, I always say that's like the hardest thing you can do, and also some of the most sanctifying work you can do if you're
Mhm.
willing to put in the work. But it comes back to, are you willing to work as much on yourself as you're willing to
Yeah.
work on your business?
Yeah.
Because in the end, whatever, businesses come and go.
Yeah.
The effect you make on other people based on
Yeah.
who you are and who God is in you, that's what's going to be remembered.
And the growth that you can gain from the journey. So
Yeah.
one of my taglines, commercial jingles, is the business is the playground for your soul. It's
Yeah.
really
So
about
true.
your development, right? And when I did MLM back in the day, they would say it's the best self-development program with a compensation plan,
Yeah.
right? Which is another element. But as you
I,
grow and change, you can hold more and you get more and more of that clarity of who you are along the
I,
way.
oh, It's so true. I often say entrepreneurship is soul work.
Yeah.
It is the what am I called into, and then how am I going to be grown through all of these
Yeah.
challenges? What
Yeah.
I spoke recently to high schoolers, and one of the things I said, when you picture a small business, right at the beginning, you hit like a short little wall, and you're like, oh, let's figure out how to jump over that. We jump over
Yeah.
that. We hit the next wall, and then it's like, oh, and then year after year, the walls get bigger. It doesn't change that you're hitting a wall. You just have to learn how to navigate over them, or you'll turn
Hmm.
around and give up.
Hmm.
But every year in business, I'm struggling with things right now that feel big, that feel
Hmm.
heavy and weighty because it's employee based, like how do I
Hmm.
handle things? But those years of early years, it was really, I would say the first 5 years was very difficult. It was paycheck to paycheck. I wasn't sure how I was going to pay my bills. I put nothing in savings. I had nothing extra. And granted, we went all in. We had no other jobs. So I started in January. By April, I quit my job and I just
Hmm.
went on all in. So some people also say, how do you get success? And I'm like, well, when you have no other choice, like we had to like figure it out. You have to pay your bills. So it's like,
Yeah.
whatever we have to do, we're gonna try it this week. But to like bring it full circle, 14 years later, I said to John, my husband, this morning, I was like, you got to pull out some of the furniture and get painting them. And he's like, oh, there's no room. It's in the way. I'm like, you can't be a like fixed
Hmm.
mindset. It
Hmm.
has to be the season of we're slower. How do
Hmm.
we make this work? And we pivot to try, to get the things that we need to do to take care of the people that we love. So, um, don't ever think that the 14-year business has arrived. We're all kind of
Yeah.
struggling, but in just different struggles. Um, you know, but God is faithful in it all.
Well, he's leading us like water through the valley, right? And so
Mhm.
whenever we come up, this is what I'm hearing, when we come up as to what seems like an obstacle, it's it could be, but there's meaning behind it. And then that's the work that you have to do to find that meaning and or the favorite bad word to pivot. Or to redirect. And this is interesting coming back to the furniture for you guys because that was the origins. And throughout this conversation, I'm seeing such a larger, deeper, robust world of Sarah's day to day that's going on, speaking, to high schools, organizing women in business for intentional circles, like all these other elements. And those are additional opportunities that are going to feed into the bigger picture as well and already have, right? And you
Yeah,
never know where that's going to take you. So, would you care to share with us a little bit about that branching out into where it's not just the business itself, but now the impact and connection that the business is allowing you to have in your community?
sure. Yeah. I mean, over the years, again, it's been saying yes to the things I feel called to, and they don't always
Mhm.
line up. Like people will say, "Oh, you're so busy, you must be rolling in the dough," and I'm like, "I'm busy. Most of what I'm busy, I actually don't make money at." So, For instance, today I'm on 3 podcasts. I'm
Hmm.
meeting with a local company who asked me about being a designer of wallpaper, and they do an exclusive line of our wallpaper.
Wow.
I've never done that before. I have no idea what it's like. Like I said yes to it. Tomorrow I have a friend who just went through training to do restorative yoga and positionings to help people walk through their journeys. I said yes to that. Like
Mm,
things like that. I have a lot of things where I'm saying yes and I'm trying to be there. I'm speaking to 2 new high school groups in the next quarter. I just said yes to those.
mhm,
Um, but it's just all of those things. I have to, number one, feel very called to it because I'm very
mhm,
busy. But number two, I really just believe pouring into other people, it's it's what makes the difference in the world. And whether that shows back up in my wallet, probably I believe it does, but that's not why I'm doing it.
yeah.
So one of my main ministries, even at our churches, we do a large women's event. I just had Lisa Harper here from Nashville, and we did a 800 person women event a couple months ago. And I do that two
Mm,
times a year with a team.
mm,
I'm one of the leaders of 120 volunteers for those events.
mhm,
And people say, like, you don't have time for that. Like, how would you do that?
mhm,
Well, God called me into it, and it
mhm.
makes a difference in so many women. And I am really passionate about helping women. So,
Yeah,
whatever that looks like, as God opens the doors, I'm gonna
yeah.
pursue it unless I literally don't have the time. But
Mhm,
He always multiplies the time. And even like I said this to a woman recently, she's like, "How do you get everything done?" And I said, Elon Musk just said recently, you will take as long as you give yourself to do anything. If you give
mm,
yourself an hour, you'll get it done in an hour. If you give yourself 24 hours, it'll take you 24 hours.
mm,
So I literally say, okay, this is the time I have to put into this, and that's all. And I have to trust that it
mhm.
was either meant to be or it's a flop and they won't ask me again, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But typically it has not been, no one has said that's been a flop. But even I was thinking yesterday, oh, I've got these couple speaking engagements, and I'm speaking to I'm also on the board of what's called CBWC, it's Christian Business Women Connection Group, and
Okay.
they asked me to speak in May, and I'm like, oh, I have a lot of that takes a lot of time,
Yeah.
prepping what you're going to speak on. So I thought, well, how do I most affect teenagers while speaking? And I was like, I'm going to go back to the facilitators and say, how about you have the teens come at me with questions? Like, is there
Mm.
any questions they can think of? I'm going to do it, and it's going to be a Q&A for 30 minutes because it's only a 20 to 30 minute conversation anyway. And then I don't have to prep, but I'm
Mhm.
still helping others,
Right. Yeah.
And so it's just kind of having that growth mindset, like how
Mhm,
can we make it work versus, oh, we can't make it work. It's too much.
mhm.
Everything's too much. But I also, even though I'm a high producer, I've got more of a type B personality. Like I don't beat myself up if I fail at something
Mhm.
typically. I'm just kind of like, okay, tried it, moving on. So at the same time, I think working on that in yourself, like relaxing a bit. Not everything has to be as grand as you think it needs to be. People
Mhm.
imagine, like, I don't know about you, but the people that have most affected me, they're just everyday folks who just spoke life into me, like
Yeah.
messy life,
Yeah.
little moments, and they've been completely pivotal to my life.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I just try to think about that. And it's like, do I have to wait? And the most grand people, sometimes I'm like, meh,
Mhm.
it feels like not to sound rude, but I'm just like, nah, no, I can't really relate. I can't
That's
really get
right.
there with them.
That's right.
So I'm hoping by saying, I'm a girl with no college degree,
Yeah.
walking through life coming from no money, nothing extra, and just trying to show people love, build community, and God has really blessed it as I've done those things.
Yeah. I mean, this is the walk of the everyday woman,
Yeah,
right? This is what it looks like. It's not glamorous. It's not sensational. It's not perfectly coiffed hair. And like I'm even in my old sweater today because it's a bit
I love
chilly. And
it.
I'm like, this is just come as I am and be as I am and let that hold the room. And that removes, pardon me, a lot of performance energy and allows you to drop in to a deeper level of feeling grounded and peaceful in who you are, and that being enough. That
Yeah,
is enough. A good heart, a kind mouth, and a serving spirit. Oh, amen. Good words, Lord.
yeah,
And getting out there and seeing. And Sarah, in what you're describing, I'm seeing another elevation of you moving more into a coaching type of space or mentorship where, maybe it's paid speaking events in women's groups or smaller circles or events where you're hosting and curating that awakening in them and that
Mhm.
leadership in them to hold what you're holding, because what you're walking through right now is obviously preparing you for something else. And it's going to be, well, how did you come out of that slow season and going back to painting furniture in the basement to now being featured on Oprah?
Right.
I'll just put that out
Right.
there.
Yeah, sounds good. Joanna Gaines, I'd like to meet you. Um,
Or Joanne Gaines, I think you said in
yeah,
an article I read
yeah.
about you. You'd rather meet her.
I might. Sorry. Nothing against Oprah. I'd love to meet you too. Um, but yeah, no, I have no idea. I always say to people, my dream job would be that. It would be to sit with women every day, 1 hour after 1 hour, and walk them through business, spiritual awakening, health, all of the things. But as of right now, I'm creating beautiful spaces, and I love that too. But I always say I want to retire. I want to retire by 50, and then every day I want to do that. One of my mentors in my young mid-20s, she would meet girls at coffee shops multiple times a day. She'd have a notepad and she'd have everyone's stuff written down, what she's praying for them about, questions to ask them, follow-ups. And I got to be the recipient of her mentorship for a while. And I thought, oh, what a dream to get to the retirement age and literally just get to pour into women all day. Oh, so yeah, you're right on in that that's where my heart is for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I can feel it through the whole conversation. And I'd love to know then, like, how it's been at home and how business has changed that home life. Did that meet the goal that you had of being more available to your kids? And have you noticed the impact of you and your husband's leadership as business owners and in the home as into parenting them?
Yeah, I think we've been intentional in. So first of all, I think it's hard, right? I think you take a hit as a family sometimes when you own a small business. There's beauty, and then there's also some war wounds. And my prayer is those war wounds make us stronger and make my kids stronger and help them remember. Like my dad was a pastor growing up, and we had a lot of hard moments. Like we some years we had no money for Christmas. Some years we didn't know how we were going to have dinner on the table always. But those are the moments I remember that make me go, God is faithful.
Mm,
And so even on the hard moments with my family, my hope and my prayer is that they still remember it in a sweet way, going, but God always provided. He always took care of us. We've had so many blessings because of being in small business, being on we're on BYU University Survivalist show together as a family.
well,
That would have never happened. They reached out to us and said, would you be on it? We won that show as well, and
well,
you have to go for a week and have no TV and only what you can carry on your back and do these hiking challenges and food challenges and everything. So we've had a lot of cool experiences. Actually, just this morning I said, kids, there's a cast director who just connected with me about that new Prairie show with Magnolia, where you have to go like 6 weeks and live like it's the 1800s.
okay.
And they both looked at me, they're like, absolutely not.
No Wi-Fi,
I
no
was like,
go.
hey, I'm just sharing opportunities if you don't want to do it. So I would say that I think they don't realize how much they've probably been given, and probably more as they are out of it, they'll see like the more they've worked outside of the home, like my husband's big on they need to get jobs outside of us as well.
Yeah,
The more they do that, the more they're like, oh, we actually do like working for you. Um,
right.
but each house along the way, one of the main heart motives behind getting each house that needed to be redone that we've lived in, including our 1802 farmhouse, which was highly the heaviest renovation. Almost every single room had to be redone. And
Yeah.
but the reason why we did it is John was like, I really want our kids to know how to fix a house.
Wow.
Even if they don't go into this industry, they need to know how to do plumbing and electrical and
Wow.
paint and tear down walls. So do I think that they don't realize we knew we were doing that? And like hopefully as they leave for college and stuff, they'll head into their own homes one day and go, oh, I'm so glad my dad taught me that. I'm so glad
Yeah.
my mom showed me how to X,
Yeah.
Y, or Z or host or whatever. So in those things, I think it's had such a beautiful impact on our family. And I'm super grateful. But I don't want people listening to be like, oh, so it was easy. No, like
Mhm.
it's definitely has hard. Marriage-wise, it's been extremely difficult working together. And I don't think most people think that. I think they see us
Mm,
at church and they see us in different settings. And they're like, what a powerhouse. You
yeah.
guys are, but people say that to us all the time. You guys are such a powerhouse couple. And I always am like, it is the most sanctifying work is
Mhm,
being married and working together. Um, but the beauty in that is like I've learned so much over the even first 5 years, and really what started making it better was uh, defining clear roles.
mm,
And then once we had those clear roles assigned, I mean, in our I can only talk to our dynamic, but it's constantly like customers want to come back to me about things that really he did wrong, or he would want me to fix things that he did, and I have to be like, no, no, no,
mhm.
this is your
Right.
wheelhouse, because not everything can go back to one partner. That causes a lot of contention.
Yeah.
And once we started doing that and really enforcing it, and you have to have the boundary. I
Mhm,
couldn't have done it without therapy and personal work. I would not have had the skills to do that. But now that we do that, oh, it's so much better. It's like
mm,
usually our fights are not ever about work. It's like, little things now, like
mm.
a struggle here or there or discussion, but it's not like it was in those first five years, where you just don't even know what you're doing. And then everything becomes a personal attack, or, way over personalizing things that are
Yeah.
just work.
Yeah.
So it has been sanctifying for me, hard, but also very, very beautiful. So.
I'm really moved by listening to the whole story, and I have this kind of like descriptive illustration of what it feels like to listen to you lay out the last 14 years of life and business. And it looks like a valley of wildflowers, and they're in all shapes and colors, and some are dead, and some are blooming, and some will come next year, but we don't know it yet. And it's like this ongoing cyclical journey of provision, of beauty, of brokenness, but in all of it, it's continuity
Right.
and like unlimited ongoing blooming. We just don't know what flowers are going to pop next season,
Yeah.
next year. And that is
That is so beautiful. That
right.
is
I
so
know. I'm like,
beautiful. Yeah.
it's
I think in pictures and I'm like, that is such a beautiful way to describe it. Thank you for saying that, for taking time to like think through that and say it out loud.
just like I'm feeling it really deep because you've illustrated the robustness of life and business and the reality of it. And I really appreciate the vulnerabilities around that because I don't want the peak of the iceberg. I want the full story. We need to know that. We need to normalize and keep that relatability so that others will stay encouraged and will stay open even when it's hard. Because, like Napoleon Hill says, 3 feet from gold, right? And if you stop digging, you don't get to discover. And there's some really great illustrations of that example of literally a person in a tunnel and they stop digging and they are 3 feet from the gold. So we want to let those flowers continue to bloom. We want to let that valley continue to cycle and not get too stuck in the moment, right? We're present
So
with
true.
what is, but we're connected to the greater timeline that we're walking out and
So
trusting
good.
in God to hold us through it.
So good. It's so good. I love
Yeah,
it. Yes.
yeah, yeah, beautiful. Well, Sarah, like, oh my gosh, what a fantastic conversation. Makes my heart.
I know. It's so beautiful. I loved this so much.
Yeah, very, very rich. So we'll share your socials. Everything's tagged Funcycled, just as it sounds, on all the socials. I downloaded your freebie. She's got this great PDF on easy ways to clean up your spaces. But I think that's just sort of the fish hook with you because you're so deep. There's so
Mm,
much, and it's
thanks.
beautiful to connect with you at this juncture where God is preparing you for a new chapter by the sounds of it. And I
Thank
look
you.
forward to keeping in touch and seeing what comes next for you.
Me too. Me too. Thank you so much for having me on. You're such a beautiful soul. I just feel it, and I'm so grateful you asked me to be on and that we could connect today. So thank you.
Well, my pleasure, Sarah. It's a pleasure. Bye. Seriously, you guys, come on. How juicy was that? Is it just me, or are these conversations going to the next level? I think we're going to the next level. Watch out, 2026. Here we come. Ah, you guys, I am as simple and ordinary as they come. I'm nothing special. And yet, look at the extraordinary impact that I get to be a part of. If you're ready for more of you to be unlocked, this is your invitation. The Everyday Woman Awakening is my 6-week small cohort experience for women who are ready to go deep into themselves, build self trust, learn to back themselves up, regulate their nervous system, develop their spirituality, and lead their lives with love and clarity. This isn't about becoming someone new. It's about awakening the woman who's already there. If your heart and soul is saying yes, please follow it. Message me, reach out to me, come talk to me, and let's talk about your spot inside the Everyday Woman Awakening. It's Jan 6. The next session starts Jan 14. Cohorts will be running throughout 2026 on Wednesday mornings and another one on Friday mornings. Small circles, 6 weeks, intimate, high touch, deep work. Current price $397. Accessible, impactful, and the place where more of you comes out. I love you. Have a phenomenal and powerful day. And I'll see you in the next episode. And be sure to follow me on all my socials. Everything is Powerful Inc. POWHERFULLINC. You're amazing. You matter. And you're here to make an impact. I love you.